in have come Ryan Fredericks, Issa Diop, Lukasz Fabianski, Jack Wilshere, Andriy Yarmolenko, Fabian Balbena and Felipe Anderson on a club record deal. There have only been 2 outgoings so far though. The most recent was Cheikhou Kouyate's transfer to Crystal Palace on Wednesday night for a fee thought to be an initial £9.5 million, and the other was defender Reece Burke, who left the club to sign for Hull City earlier in the window for a reported £1.5 million. That's quite the disparity then, and West Ham's net spend this summer, excluding things like agent fees plus the big contract handed to Manuel Pellegrini, is around £75 million. The Hammers have strengthened where they needed to: goalkeeper, right back, centre midfield, winger, but there are still a couple of areas that Pellegrini could do with strengthening to complete his very new-look squad. Pellegrini and new recruitment guru Mario Husillos have overseen a summer of change in the east of the capital, but what else do they need to sort out between now and next Thursday? Sign a mobile defensive midfielder. It was one of the key areas that needed sorting out after the poor campaign last season, and as of a week to go in the window, it's one area that still hasn't been addressed. Declan Rice has been playing as a CDM on occasion throughout pre-season and has done a sterling job, but, as we all know, he's a centre-back by trade and is only 19, despite his enormous talent. Danny Drinkwater, photo by Adrian Dennis, AFP, Getty Images. Pellegrini needs to decide if Rice is going to be the man to play there and put his faith in the teenager, or if he is going to sign someone else. West Ham have plenty of attacking talent, but it has to be remembered that they are yet to keep a clean sheet this pre-season, despite going unbeaten in the last 5 friendlies. With the sale of Kouyate, who wasn't going to be mobile enough to fit Pellegrini's system anyway, the depth of an alternative player for that position has gone. Pedro Obiang is staying put despite having his head turned by Sampdoria, and outside of him and Rice, there's nothing else. Especially if Jack Wilshere is going to be playing in an advanced role that we have seen in pre-season, the defense will be left exposed. Names such as Danny Drinkwater have been mentioned, maybe even his Chelsea teammate Timo Bakayoko could be a goer now Jorginho has pitched up at Stamford Bridge, who knows. Porto midfielder Hector Herrera is another name bandied around at the moment, as is Lille's Thiago Maia, but the Hammers don't have long to get any deals over the line. Sign a backup striker. Whether Pellegrini can convince a player to come to West Ham to play backup remains to be seen, but if, as expected, Jordan Hugill is sold this summer, then the only out-and-out striker on the books is Javier Hernandez. Marco Arnautovic is now a centre-forward, of course, but he's adaptable and can play anywhere across the front three. Should Hernandez suffer an injury, say, then outside of Arnautovic the Hammers will have Tony Martinez to call on, and that's about it. Michail Antonio can play there, but it's not his natural position. Andy Carroll is out long-term and his fitness is always questionable. West Ham have signed a lot of attacking players this summer, but they really could do with one more, one that is an out-and-out striker, like when Spurs signed Fernando Llorente, for example. Not that we're saying sign the Spaniard, who can provide support off the bench if needed, someone to throw on for 20 minutes maybe when a game is tight. West Ham striker Jordan Hugill holds the ball up. Image, Danis 19, Getty Images, but some players need to be sold first. West Ham's owners have certainly backed Pellegrini in the market so far since the Chilean arrived in the capital, but they had to, because that's what Pellegrini demanded if he was to take the job. Football London understands that no more first-team regular players will be sold this summer now that Kouyate has gone, so that rules out the likes of Obiang and Antonio being sold. The question is now, how much can they make in terms of cash on the fringe players who are expected to depart? Hugill, Sam Byram, Edmilson Fernandez, Reece Oxford are the likely candidates to go, should the right money come in for them. Fernandez and Byram are rated at £5 million, Hugill at £7 million and Oxford for between £10 million, £15 million, so if all of them did go, say, the minimum the Hammers could recoup is £27 million. Is that enough for a defensive midfielder and backup striker? If you add the initial £9.5 million for Kouyaté, that makes £36.5 million. Are the owners going to commit more money to Pellegrini over the next 7 days for him to strengthen sufficiently, or is it a case of work with what you've got, and if you can sell, you can buy? It'll be tough to shift all those mentioned previously, and the club can't simply accept the low offer just to get them off the books. Keep up to date with the latest news, features and exclusives from Football London via the free Football London app for iPhone and Android. Available to download from the App Store and Google Play.